I'm Manouk Akopyan. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you to our partners, personal injury attorney Nelson Gevorkyan.
Hello.
What's up, Alex?
What's happening?
We've had Old Man Volk, we've had Builder Volk, and now we have rock singer, music producer Volk. I'm curious where the idea for that one came up, and was those your vocals on the skit?
No, not my vocals, unfortunately. I wanted to actually do that. I wanted to, hit some notes and show you my many talents, But, it was good. So we're always going to do a skit, and have a bit of fun with it. Sportsbet do a great job with that sort of stuff. It's always fun. And then after, the singing, we've secondhand serenade. I thought, you know what? They wanted to touch on that, and I was like, that's a great idea. So having a bit of fun with it.
I feel for a lot of your fights in your career, you felt discounted and, Holloway's going to beat him or Islam's going to wrestle him and all this sort of stuff. But now, after the two losses, coming back from the time away, does it kind of feel more than ever like, people, not in a negative way, but they're just really hoping you don't lose at this point, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, you know what I mean? And it's easy. I'm always, I love being the underdog, right? I'm always like trying to find ways to, see people saying things so I could use it as fuel, and I don't need to do that, right? Like everyone has every right to think that. I'm coming off, they talk about the age thing and then coming off a big break, coming off 2 KO losses. So, everyone has every right to think that, and I'm going to change their mind this weekend. So it's that's all it is. So it's weird. It's because I am, a lot of people are doubting me. But like usually I'll be like, a bit spiteful about it, if that makes sense. But now I'm like going, I get why you think that, but I'm going to show you. So it's still, I still have that, something to prove, but I'm not angry about it, if that makes sense. So it's like, I've got to prove it. I'm going to prove it to myself, and I'm going to prove it to the world.
I saw some images of you training last night. I have to say you look incredibly shredded for this one. When you took that time off, I know you started living family life, you got the farm and everything. When you started getting back into training, was there a moment where it was like, oh, yeah, I am actually a fucking killer as well? And how was the training camp to prove that?
Yeah, it was good. It was good to just grow outside of the sport and just spend a lot of time on that. Was great. The question was, am I going to flip the switch going back to that fighting? That's why I wanted to do the camp early. So I could really do that. And yeah, you're right, man. This is the leanest I've ever been. I really wanted to get my percentage body fat, to be honest. I think it would be, definitely the lowest it's ever been. So it's 16 weeks of just hard camp, man, and real discipline. Didn't have a drop of alcohol the whole 16 weeks, not even a cheat meal. So I guess you could say I went above and beyond. The work ethic's always there for me, right? The intensity in training. Physically, I'm always putting it in. So you're never going to top that because I'm always topping it. I can't go any harder than what I do. But things that I could have worked on is maybe, try and focus a little bit more on whether it's recovery, but, dieting, and things like that, and just being that little bit more disciplined. And I was. Like I followed the diet, Geordie, the fight dietitian, followed that to a T, literally from well before camp. I usually, I'll follow it a bit, eat what I want, and then the weekends do whatever I want, follow it again, and then really buckle down the last, 4 or 5 weeks, if that makes sense, and just do that little bit bigger weight cut. Where this time I was able to literally get rid of a whole kilo and maybe even more of fat, you know what I mean? So, very, very happy where we are. I haven't kept a shirt on whole camp, so it's pretty good. Very, very happy and, proud of myself because I went above and beyond on this one.
Obviously, you shaved your head. If you could have hair, but it could only be Diego's hair, would you grow it back?
I mean, any hair, I wouldn't. This is my new look, man. Like as I was saying, we could go do a trip over there to Turkey or something like that, but I ain't gonna do it. This is my look, so all good.
Alex, right here. In the UFC countdown, when you were reflecting on your last fight against Ilya, you used the phrase, I think, that it was more of a freak reaction defensively when you were facing him. So what does that feel like when you're in there to, like, have that, as you say, a freak reaction defensively on your end?
I don't know if freak reaction was the right way of putting it. It was just, like I knew that, it was just at a time where I'm like, all right, now we're we need to start adding stuff. You know, the shots are there, but you know, you're getting pretty hesitant and sort of. When I say defensive, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, I didn't want to follow up because, you know, anyway, I don't want to get too much into it, but it was just, I was like, all right, we need to start doing more. Like, just talking to myself and just wouldn't do it. But yeah, that's obviously you got a powerful guy like Ilya in front of you. You got things like that. Coming off the losses, coming off the knockout victory, coming off a knockout loss, stuff like that. You know, maybe it was, no one could have told me that before the fight, though. People are like, oh, yeah, it messes with your confidence and all this. And I'm like, bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way anyone could have told me that. But, yeah, maybe I did fight that, you know, a little bit different than, you know, what people are used to, which I think was pretty obvious. But the fight was still going, you know, good. A lot of people are like, oh, yeah, but you were winning the rounds and all that. But, you know, you've got a good fighter like Ilya in front of you. You start making, you know, having, you know, patterns and doing the same thing, someone's going to capitalise. A guy like him is going to capitalise, and he did. So full credit to him, you know. When I say that's not taking anything away from him, I'm just more upset about myself.
Did you think it would be Diego welcoming you back after this time off?
No, I always thought it was going to be Ilya. You know, we had the face-off. You know, I thought that's what it was going to be. But, you know, I got the next best thing, you know, in Diego, a young, hungry guy. You know, I wanted to prove myself to the younger generation in Ilya, right? Everyone's like, oh, the new school and all this. So that's a big part of the story, right? Not only getting that win back, but, you know, just showing that, you know, everyone's going to say you're old and all this type of stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm going to show you, you know what I mean? When I come back, it's going to be big. But, you know, I don't get Ilya, you know, don't get that win back just yet, but I get the next best thing. It is for the vacant belt. And it's against a young, hungry, you know, new prospect, you know. So a lot of people are hyping him up and thinking I can't do it. And I love this position.
Do you see a bit of yourself in him? Because, you know, he made his debut on short notice against Mavzar. He took that fight against Ige on a couple hours' notice. He flew all the way to Abu Dhabi just to weigh in as a backup like you did. And now he wanted to get back in earlier after the Ortega fight. Do you see a sense of, you know, like how you came up, like kind of mirrored how he got this shot? Yeah,
well, for sure. Like, I think he did everything right. You know, that's what you want opportunities like to come your way. That's the way you do it. Like, you know, people are going to be like, oh, risk. Yeah, it is risk. But, you know, there's big opportunities when you take risks. That's why I guess he's always ready, always in good shape, just so we can take these opportunities. And look where it's got him. You know, there's a lot of people that are sort of in his position, as in could be next. And he was a guy the UFC wanted because he did everything right. So, yeah, I can see a lot of that. You know, he'll fight anyone, anywhere, anytime. So, full respect to him.
And you got your title shot after beating Aldo in Brazil. Obviously, you beat up Yair. So, you beat up a Brazilian legend. You fought a Mexican legend. Now you're fighting a guy that represents both countries. So, I guess, how's the fan reception been that you're fighting a guy that both of these countries kind of claim?
Well, yeah, fine. I mean, you know, there's no malice. I think everyone loves us both. You know, everyone's got a lot of respect for him, a lot of respect for me, and I haven't heard much at all. You know, to be quite honest. So it's good.
And just last one for me: have you run into Pitbull? Because you was joking here about that $1 million bet you kind of joked about. I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, actually I did see him. Yeah, like you know, obviously you're gonna say things on the mic, but you know, behind closed doors you're shaking hands and saying hello. But it's yeah, I mean, if he does his thing, like we don't need to talk it up. He does his thing in an impressive fashion. He's got a tough, you know, guy in front of him. If he goes out there, mate, I'm sure the UFC are gonna you look at him as maybe his next as well. So you could be seeing it pretty soon. I mean, with this $1 million thing that he's talking about, I don't even know if he's serious about that. I mean, like, I think a lot of that is just trying to hype up to get the fighters. Like, mate, just put on a performance. You get the fight. You don't need to cut the bullshit, you know. Yeah, I'm, you know, again, I'm a big fan of Yair Rodriguez. He's a good dude, but whoever wins. If Yair wins, all right, happy for him because you know I like him. If people wins, at least I've got a fight probably coming soon, so I'll be happy, I guess, with both.
Alex, right here. Coming into this fight, a lot of narratives, the 35 or older one that's been discussed before, fighters who come into title fights off back-to-back losses, 1-5, never won an undisputed title. Randy Couture got an interim belt in that spot. And then some people seem to think the training videos with Nina Drama have a bit of a connotation to them. If you overcome all of that and win, is this your greatest achievement on Saturday?
Well, it is the greatest achievement. Just look at it. I've never been in this situation before, right? I've never come off such a big break. I've never come off 2 losses. So it's definitely the biggest fight. It really is the biggest fight of my career, and, everyone's going to go, oh, yeah, like you've done enough, but I haven't. I can do a lot more, and it starts this weekend, you know what I mean? It starts on Saturday, where this new title reign is, when you talk about legacy, and it doesn't get much bigger than this. The comeback is going to be real. This is shit, people write books about, movies about, and we're going to do it all Saturday night.
And just last night, news came out, Aaron Pico has signed with the UFC. A lot of people excited about his addition to the featherweight division. I know if you're champ, he'll have a lot of work to do, but what do you just think of him coming in, another potential fresh name?
Obviously know of him. I've seen, some highlights. I don't know too much about him, but seems to be a bit of a hype, so it's good. I love it. You got people talking about people talking about this fella. You got a lot of guys. You got even undefeated fighters. You've got so many up-and-comers. I mean, the division is pretty stacked right now with a lot of hot prospects. Silva coming up as well, doing his thing. It's cool. Cool time to be champ. And I will be, and I'll have a lot of defences ready, because I want to be that same active defending champ that you guys remember. That title reign, that next title reign is going to be good.
Alex, right here. We talked about Ilya going up. Were you surprised at all that he went up and didn't hang on to the title, that he vacated and went this route?
It's pretty surprised with him vacating. I knew he wanted to chase the lightweight title and move up. I heard him saying that, but I didn't think he would give up the belt that easy. I thought he would try and hold it. So that's why you got to have respect for that. Like, for him to not want to hold up divisions. Look, I got to a point where, obviously, I wanted that fight back. I wanted to get that win back. It got to a point where I'm like waiting, because I was hoping to fight, a bit later last year, even October, maybe December-ish. So it was starting to drag on. So I got to a point where I was like, all right, if he's going to wait around, I'll do an interim against someone and then we'll fight. It got to that point. And so it wasn't a surprise that he moved up, but surprised that he vacated. So I knew that it was going to be Diego at UFC Sydney, and I didn't know if it was interim. I didn't know Ilya's situation, so I heard that on Dana's live as well. So I was quite surprised with that.
And then,
but full credit to him, you know what I mean? You got to give him a lot of respect. I obviously still want that fight back, but I let him do his thing. He's committed to this. Let him do that. I plan on being that active defending champ that I said. Once he's done his fight, if he was to win the belt, imagine us running it back, both champions after me having this little title reign. I'm expecting to have a couple of fights by the time he fights, to be honest. That's how active I want to be. So you could just imagine how big that rematch could be. So getting that win back, is still an opportunity not too far ahead.
And then going back to the music video, how important is it to be able to have fun at this point of your career?
It is, man. It is. I enjoy the acting, to be quite honest, and especially with sports bet and that, they do a great job. But it's good because I've always went through the motions, and I started growing. You can see in the last couple of years of me really starting to be myself. But I really, over that little break, I really got to work on myself even more, just be myself. And I feel like I'm taking that into this week. So I'm not only just the fighter answering these questions, it's Alex answering these questions too, that sort of hard to explain, but it's good. So I feel like I'm going to really enjoy the process, especially the victories and all that type of stuff. I usually just win. I'm like, it's a bit of relief, and then I'm just ready for the next one. Or you get what I mean? I'm like, I don't really get to properly enjoy the situation or understand what I've done. I'm going to be able to do that this time, and I can't wait. I think I'm going to be very, very happy, and I'll really enjoy the after party and the weeks with my family, and even just enjoy taking that belt back to my team, to my training partners, my supporters, and obviously my family and that. I can't wait to take that back and properly enjoy it as a family man, or as myself, rather than just, oh, you're bringing it back and, are ready for the next one. It's hard to explain, but I think I get to really enjoy and appreciate this moment, especially when I get my hand raised.
You mentioned enjoying the acting. Was there anyone role in that video that you preferred? I think there was a Kurt Cobain and Iron Maiden.
Kurt Cobain, yeah, there was a few there. I like the country singer one, you know what I mean? That's, me being on a farm now. I'm getting used to that cowboy hat, so yeah, a bit of fun.
Thanks.
Volk, speaking of your family, you and your wife, Emma, have been together for about 20 years. What type of advice did she give you during...
Oh, sorry, there he is.
No, you're good. You and your wife, Emma, have been together for 20 years. What type of advice did she give you during your rugby career, and how has that advice changed as you've went into MMA?
She's backed me from the start. You know what I mean? You could imagine the sport when I started. It wasn't big in Australia. A lot of people didn't really know what it was. Family and friends are like, what's this thing he's doing? When's he going to give it up and get a real job? You know what I mean? And that's no lie. I'm sure a lot of fighters went through the same thing at some point in their career. And but she backed me the whole time. There was a time where I was chasing the dream. She was working, and I was doing a bit of concreting and obviously fighting as well. And then there was a time where I committed that little bit more to fighting. And yeah, she had my back. She backed me, and had my full support, and it was great. And that means a lot, especially when you're chasing the dream. There was it's going to be tough times. A lot of any athlete early days is going to struggle. So that's where you're at. But we stuck to it with the commitment and the backing of her, and we got it done. Now we're going to be able to really enjoy it through that process. Another thing, right? Like I'll talk about back here with the question where I'm like, I'm going to be able to sort of really enjoy it. You know what I mean? Like we've done a lot, obviously, blessed to be in the position I am. I don't feel like I got to enjoy it through that process, but that last year I had off, I really was able to enjoy it, and very, very happy where things are, and can't wait to go and do my thing, this new title reign, and just really enjoy it, or soak it all up, and enjoy it with family.
G'day, Volk, mate, down the middle here, mate.
How you going?
Yeah, good, mate. Aussie MMA has never been in a better spot than it is currently. You got yourself fighting for the belt this week. We've got Jack Della next month. There's young blokes coming through every division. What is it about Australia that we just punch above our weight, overall?
Yeah,
what
we always do, mate. That's it. You know what I mean? I feel like I've always done that, and I feel like that's just the Aussie way, you know what I mean? And it's pretty a crazy position we're in right now. Like I'm getting my hand raised. I'm getting my hand raised this weekend, and Jack will do the same. By the way, he's got a YouTube channel as well. Go give him a shout. Go give him a subscribe. And a like. But yeah, he's obviously very well-rounded, great dude. I was very happy to have him in camp as well. I was able to get some good rounds with him. So he helped me through camp, which is great. And hopefully we'll be able to help him get ready as well. So massive things coming. You can see it growing so much. We don't have a champion just yet, but this weekend we will. And, within a month having 2 champions is just insane.
It is. And with the new singing Volk going viral on the internet, any chance after you win the belt on Saturday you pull out a Tyson Fury and bust out into song in the middle of the cage?
You never know. Yeah, we'll see if the mood strikes. Maybe. I think so. I think, maybe. What song you reckon?
Shit, that's a good question.
Give me. Anyone got any ideas?
Maybe
What's
Land
a
Down
good
Under.
song?
Just go with it.
Land Down Under, you reckon?
What would get the pop is Bad Bunny just came out with a new song.
Which one, sorry?
If Bad Bunny, you're saying Bad Bunny with his new album here in Miami,
You're right. That would pop off.
Fire right now.
Better get that lyrics down, Pat. Yeah, see how we go. Is that it? All right, cheers. Appreciate you.